Thank you so much for coming tonight. It's a very auspicious day whenever the Lord appears. Lord Nrsimha appeared millions of years ago. And he always likes drama. He fights with big demons. Like Hiranyakashipu was one of the biggest demons in the universe. All the demigods were afraid of him. They, just at the mere movement of his eyebrow, he could just annihilate anybody he wanted to. So they were all just like engaged in his service, and doing menial tasks that are below their respectability. But when he started messing with his devotee, when Hiranyakashipu started messing with Prahlad Maharaj, his 5-year-old son, who happened to be a devotee, he got really mad. And so he played with him a little bit, just like cats do. You ever seen a cat play with a mouse? They play with them for a little while, let them go, run around, and then they catch them again. And Nrsimha had to abide by the benedictions of Lord Brahma, the creator of the universe, because Hiranyakashipu, he was trying to take out an insurance policy. He wanted to be immortal, and he was standing on his tippy toes, doing severe austerities to the point where there was an anthill right next to him, and the ants ate all the flesh off his body. He was circulating his life air through his bones. He was standing on the tiptoes and putting his arms up in the air, and his austerities were so great that they were burning the whole universe. And so Lord Brahma, all the demigods were complaining, it's really hot in here, so he had to, Brahma had to come down and give him a benediction. He wanted to be immortal, but he couldn't, Brahma told him, I'm not even immortal, so, you're going to have to ask for something else. And so he tried to cover all his bases, just like, you try to, you think that your family's going to save you, your nation's going to save you, your strength is going to save you, your intelligence is going to save you. He made all these requests. Okay, so he asked Brahma, okay, I don't want to be killed in the day or the night. I don't want to be killed in the land or the air. And he just checked them off the list. Brahma said, okay, yeah, sure, no problem, He didn't give him an immortality because, Brahma himself wasn't immortal. So he couldn't make him immortal. Only Krishna can make you immortal. But because Hiranyakashipu was attached to this material world, he wanted to make sure that he could make arrangements so he could live forever and enjoy forever. And he would be the only one enjoying. Nobody else could enjoy. That's the idea that the demons have, And so he wanted to be killed neither on the inside or the outside, neither in the day or the night. He didn't want to be killed by any weapon. He didn't want to be killed by any man or beast or demigod. He didn't want to be killed either inside or outside. He didn't want to, and he thought he had all the bases covered. But, he challenged his son, he said, where did you get your power from? Because they tried to kill Prahlad. Prahlad didn't have any insurance program like Hiranyakashipu did. His father tried to make himself immortal so many ways. But Prahlad just had faith in Nrsimha, and he just, they tried to kill Prahlad so many ways. Hiranyakashipu asked him, he asked his servants, you know, chop them up, pierce them, throw them off a cliff, boil them in oil, burn them, poison them. They did all these things. They threw them off a cliff. They tried to crush them under elephants' feet. All these things he tried to do. And Prahlad, it's just like the Christians in the lion's den. Nobody could hurt Prahlad Maharaj, even though he was only 5 years old. But one time, Hiranyakashipu, his father, was very, very angry. And he asked Prahlad, "Where'd you get your powers from? How is it that I can't kill you?" And he said, "I get my powers the same place you get yours from the Supreme Lord." He said, "Where is your Lord?" And he said, "He's everywhere, Father." And Hiranyakashipu said, "Is he in this pillar?" There was a pillar in the palace. And Prahlad looked. He said, "Yeah, he's in there." And so Hiranyakashipu took his sword out and he struck the pillar. And half man, half lion came up. And it wasn't a human being. It wasn't a demigod. It wasn't a man or a beast. It was half man, half lion. And it was neither in the inside or the outside. It was in the portico of the palace. It wasn't the day or the night. It was at dusk. Right now, we're supposed to fast until dusk, until Lord Nrsimha appears. And then with his nails, which is not a weapon, it's neither a living thing nor a dead thing, it's nails of his claws, he put him on his lap, which is neither the air or the ground, and he did this to him.
On the porch, right?
It was in the portico. He ripped him apart, he garlanded himself with his intestines. And you may think, oh, that's horrible, But Prabhupada said that his blood-spattered mane was actually beautiful for devotees. And so, just wanted to read one little verse from just the purport or the translation. This is after Prahlad, nobody could pacify Nrsimhadev. He was so angry. All the demigods were afraid of him. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and all the demigods couldn't even approach him. And even Lakshmi, his eternal consort, his, Lakshmi is the consort of the Supreme. She'd never seen him like that before. And so Brahma pushed Prahlad in front of him and just said, "You try to offer him prayers." And Prahlad and Nrsimhadev touched his head, and he started reciting these beautiful prayers. Even though he was only 5 years old, he gave him the ability to recite these prayers. And this is one of the prayers. It says, "My Lord Nrsimhadev, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls are neglected and not cared for you, cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child, a physician in medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat in the ocean cannot protect a drowning man." So, whatever we do, it's not guaranteed. If you go to the hospital and you say, you've got a very severe disease, and you ask the doctor, "Can you help me?" And the doctor says, "Well, I'll try." He wouldn't say that if everything was infallible like that. But, so the only sure thing is depending on Krishna, and that's the point of this whole pastime, is that materialists try to depend on their own power and their own strength in order to protect themselves. And so we don't want to surrender either. There's a Sanskrit word, 2 words, that means that you don't want to surrender because you think you can protect yourself. We should understand that only Krishna can protect us. If we're actually humble and understand that none of these things, a patient mother can't protect a child, a physician can't relieve a suffering patient, boat of the ocean can't protect a drowning man. None of these things can help us. The only thing that can save us out of this material existence is the hand of God. If you're actually drowning, you have to have somebody's helping hand to take you out of the ocean of suffering. And so Krishna is the only one who can do that. So the only sure thing is to get protection from the Supreme Lord. And Lord Nrsimha is the protector of his devotee. He protected his child Prahlad. And so we want to be humble, and you can't not want to surrender. We think we're in the control, and we think we can manipulate things in the material world so that we can be safe. Nothing will help us unless we actually surrender to Krishna. So that's the whole purpose of this pastime, that all these things that Hiranyakashipu did, he had an insurance policy out, But say, for example, if a tree hits your house or something, and you ask the insurance company, what are you going to cover this? What are they going to say? They're going to say no, because it was an act of God. So if it's an act of God, they don't cover it. If it's some kind of other accident, they do. But so there's always a crack in nature. Hiranyakashipu thought he had all his bases covered, but he didn't. Krishna always finds a way. Krishna is known. He says in the Bhagavad Gita that of cheats, I am a gambler. Gambler is the biggest cheat. And so Krishna is the best of everything. So that's that pastime. And so the lesson is, don't try to control things or make material arrangements for our own safety, or try to live forever and enjoy. We just have to surrender to Krishna and serve him, and then we'll automatically be protected. So, Hare Krishna.
So now Mariah will